Everyone loves getting a deal, but safely buying and selling gold and silver in person requires due diligence and the adherence to certain rules. Or things can go wrong very quickly. Buying and selling person to person offers the opportunity to buy precious metals at a discount, but none of that matters if the transaction goes wrong. How to safely make the deal happen without being robbed, hustled, or taken advantage of is exactly what we will cover in this video. This video is not about self-defense or how to fight off an attacker, as one of the most effective self-defense tactics is not being in a situation where you need to use self-defense tactics. Following my 10 safety steps will greatly reduce the risk associated with person-to-person transaction, regardless if you're selling your precious metals or your collection of Beanie Babies. You do not have to be someone's victim. Let's talk about it. Now, I know this isn't exactly a popular topic to cover in the stacking community, but your safety matters, especially when the justification for buying boutique silver or high premium silver. By the way, check out that video if you haven't seen it. You really need to check it out. Anyway, back to the point. When the justification for buying BS or high premium silver is that you'll make your premium back when you sell, then the ability to do that safely makes all the difference in the world. Knowing that is a path some of you will choose, I figured it would be important that we talk about how to do it as safely as possible. As I shared in other videos, smart investors don't avoid risk. Instead, we manage risk. These 10 steps will absolutely guarantee your success, but they will greatly reduce the risk associated with selling or buying precious metals via person-to-person transactions. In anticipation of how awesome this video is going to be, I want you to go ahead and hit that like button now. Also, stay to the end and you will see who receives last video's comment shout out. While there are slight differences depending on whether you are the buyer or seller, my 10 steps can be easily adapted. So let's start with number 1. First, always meet publicly, preferably at an LCS. Hopefully you have a relationship with your local coin shop where they won't mind you doing that. Your local coin shop is a location specifically set up to prevent people from robbing them. Not to mention, as a bonus, your local coin shop has Sigma testers so that the metals can be fully tested on site, providing even more peace of mind for everyone. If your local coin shop is not available, your second choice should be a police station. Either of these locations are so effective because if someone is a scammer, they are much less likely to try anything if you meet them at one of these locations. I don't need to say this, but I'm going to say this anyway. Never conduct these kind of transactions at someone's home, and you do not need to exchange personal information beyond a name and a phone number. Second tip, once you establish your time and location with the person, hopefully during daylight, ask if the person will be coming alone. I'll get back to that in a moment. Afterwards, reach out to the meeting location, be it your local coin shop or the police department, and make sure everyone is aware that you're coming. Make sure you share the other person's contact information with someone you will check in once the transaction is complete. I want you to also turn on track your phone, find a friend, whatever it is. Even if you bring someone with you, I still want you to have a check-in person to call once the transaction is done. 3, there's nothing wrong with doing a social media search or a phone number search. Any information you can get about the person is always helpful. 4, bringing someone with you. It's great to have an extra set of eyes, hands, and even a voice for help. While this is absolutely a great idea, I want to caution you that an extra person could potentially increase the tension as they may make the other person uncomfortable. This is why I said in step number 2 to ask the question. Think about it. If you were in their shoes, what would be the impact on you if you saw an additional and unexpected person approaching you? Number 5, I want you to park as close to a door, but hopefully at a different entrance. You see, I like situations where we can conduct a transaction and everyone goes their own separate way. If you can't do that, then parking close to the entrance is usually the best thing you can do because of lighting, you're more visible, it's more likely to be under surveillance, and it's easier to access help. The reality is this, the quicker you get into your vehicle and on your way home, the better. 6, always let the other person leave first. I wouldn't walk out with that person at all. So find a way to stay behind. Ultimately, I don't want them to know anything about the type of car you're getting into or for you to potentially run into an issue in the parking lot. I say let them leave first because you can monitor from inside to make sure that one, they've actually left, and two, it allows you to potentially see their vehicle information, which will allow you to know what vehicle to look out for as you drive away. If you think this information has been really helpful, I need you to hit that like button so this video can get out to more people and we can help keep more people safe. Number 7, even if you're in an open carry state, I'm not sure I would open carry. Now that doesn't mean you don't take precautions, if you know what I mean. I just don't think you want to do anything that could potentially raise the temperature of the situation. It's likely that both of you are going to be nervous and a little uncertain about meeting with a stranger and exchanging money for gold or silver. Adding a firearm might lower your stress, but it could escalate the overall tension of the situation. Number 8, cash or pay app. Let's be very clear. This is a cash transaction only. So you as the buyer only bring the amount of money needed for the purchase. If you're the seller, the only cash you bring is enough to make change just in case. You don't want to be in a situation where you're looking to break $100 or a $20 bill. I say no cash apps. It's because I don't want the person to know any more about you than they have to. You don't want any nonsense about any fraud claims or cancel payments after the fact. If the person walks away with your metals, you walk away with cash, period. Regardless, if you're the buyer or the seller, that person now knows that you have precious metals. And so I don't want anything that could be potentially traceable back to you. Number 9, test the metals and or the money. Spend a few bucks and get yourself one of those counterfeit pins if you're on the selling side. On the buying side, there are things like the pocket pinger, a Sigma tester. Hell, you can even check silver with an ice cube, okay? But you always test your metals. Number 10, trust your spidey senses. You know when things don't feel right. You get that weird kind of feeling. I want you to trust that feeling. Now, there's a difference between that weird kind of feeling and you just being a little bit nervous. But if you get that sense, I'd rather you play it safe than sorry. No deal is worth your personal safety. Before I make the final points, I want you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button because Stacker University is a community of learners that cover the topic of investing in precious metals with fun and educational, entertaining, and informative videos. 3 times a week, I drop videos like this that are intended to help you become a better investor and increase your returns. And I don't want you to miss it. So make sure you subscribe today. You've heard me say this before, but if you're the buyer, besides making the purchase safely, as we've discussed, the next important thing I want you to focus on is on the seller's experience. I want you to be such a pleasure, such a delight, no stress, no drama. Here's why. This is likely not their only piece of gold or silver they have to sell. So if they have an incredibly easy and positive experience with you, do you think they'll call you again if they have to sell? There's a solid chance they will call you the next time they want to get some quick cash with no stress. There's also the important referral, of course. They may have friends that will need to sell. Guess who's going to get that call? Here on the screen are some of my recent purchases from just 2 of the private sellers I've worked with multiple times. With the exception of this RCM bar, everything else here has been purchased at spot. From this 100-ounce Scottsdale bar, Sunshine Mint Kilo bar, the various 10 ounces, and the 2 Canadian Maple Leafs. Why was I able to have multiple transactions with these sellers? Because the first time we did a transaction, in addition to making it safe, I made it easy for the seller. They know they can call me at any time and I will put down whatever I'm doing to meet them with cash in hand and a drama-free transaction. So as I start to wrap this up, please comment on what tip you found most valuable or share how you found your best person-to-person deals. At this time, I want to shout out to Noy Q. I hope I said that correctly. But I loved your comment. The response was, I agree with what you said in the video. I believe it moves with the world situation. My life is not so busy to where I can't take the time to listen and learn. So keep those intros coming. I know you will get to the point and I'll learn something great while you do. Great video. Thank you for the comment, my friend. I appreciate the support. Make sure you comment so in the next video, you might be the shout out. You know how we end this. Always stack smarter and never stop learning.